I founded AAPI Youth Rising March of 2021 when we organized the AAPI Youth Rising rally in Berkeley, California.
I am saddened by our elders being attacked. I am saddened by what has happened in Atlanta. And I am saddened by all the communities of color that are affected by racism. Is this what it means to be Asian American youth right now? But we as youth have a chance to build our future, to raise our voices, and to demand change.
We wanted this rally to be all about youth voices and amplifying the Asian youth experience and give us a platform, I guess, to speak out and invite more youth to speak out as well. One of the big things that we've been trying to focus on as an organization is focusing more on advocating for diverse education, specifically Asian American history, because it is so underrepresented in typical American classrooms.
My name is Siu Ri. I'm a Korean American and I am in freshman year of high school. I first got involved with AAPI Youth Rising in 7th grade, and I think it's really important that Asian voices get out there, especially youth voices, because we need more perspectives on current events in the world right now, especially in America, because anti-Asian hate has been rising since 2020 when COVID-19 first struck.
When I was 6 years old, that was when I first started sewing, and that was when I asked my mom if I could go to a sewing class. So I went to my first class, and that's when I fell in love with fashion and designing. And it kind of escalated, and it turned into what is now today, my brand and all the lines and collections I've done. My last 2 collections were inspired by the whole Stop Asian Hate movement. All the models, they were all activists and they were all people of color, and I really loved that. I didn't really know what was going on, right? And I thought, maybe I could start small and have a rally in my, in my little town, and I could kind of bring people together. And, before I knew it, there was like so many people there, and there was, different cultures, different ages and ethnicities, and I was really happy to see, such a big crowd coming together and in support of, this message. And that was when it kind of all started, and it picked up, rallies after rallies every weekend, and I would be able to speak at them and kind of bring my perspective as, someone younger. I'm Ashlyn So, and this is my voice.
My name is Catherine. I recently moved to the US. A lot of times I don't feel like an Asian American, I just feel Asian. My dance is just coming to peace with my identity. So at first there's like a period of struggle and chaos. You don't really know who you are, and you're trying to find out like who you really are. Your identity is really important, and having a way to express that. So for me, I can express it through dance, but for others, I don't know what kind of struggle they're going through, but I hope they had a way to like share their story to the world. I think that's very important.
Welcome to Asian Pacific Voices Radio, where you'll find stimulating conversations that explore diverse topics and stories impacting our communities. I'm Rasha Goel. I am so delighted to introduce our guest today. As the founder of the C2C Foundation, Kirk is dedicated to reuniting adoptees and Amer-Asians from the Vietnam War era and their birth families, while also providing vital emotional healing and support for active duty U.S. military combat personnel and veterans. It is my privilege to have Tran Van Kirk joining us today on Asian Pacific Voices Radio. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's an honor. The fact of the matter is I spent the majority of my entire childhood and a part of my adult life denying my Vietnamese heritage simply because of the negative stigmas attached to the Vietnam War, attached to anything having to do with Vietnam. So I spent the majority of my life denying my Vietnamese heritage and denying that I was Vietnamese and everything that goes along with that you're talking about, the stigmas, the racism, and everything that's attached to Vietnam. I avoided all that by denying it. So one of the things we're doing is trying to help other adoptees be proud of who they are, embrace their heritage, and no longer be afraid to feel like that they're going to suffer any negative consequences that I've suffered and other adoptees that I know have suffered by having anything attached to the Vietnam War to their identity.
I understand that you're also the race director for the annual Ocean View Storm the Bay race series. So talk to us about what inspired you to take on that role, and how do these races benefit the military-centric programs of C2C?
Part of my journey, not dealing with Vietnam, but dealing with the whole PTSD, I served as a law enforcement officer for 12 years in Tennessee. And during that time, over a long period of time, I was exposed to violence. I witnessed violence. I witnessed the worst humanity had to offer. I had to visit violence on people to help, save others' lives. So I know what it's like to a certain extent to be able to experience the negative effects of PTSD. Now, I would never, ever liken my experiences to that of a combat veteran or anyone who's been in war. I couldn't imagine that. Those guys are my heroes. So I'm not even going to try to equate my experiences with theirs, but I do understand the effects of PTSD. I do understand how it can completely turn your life upside down. And one of the many things that I found that helped me keep my PTSD symptoms in check was physical activity, whether it was running, the beach activities that I talked about, and things like that. And I've always been raised and told that, a blessing is great, but it becomes a gift if you pay it forward.
You've probably seen the perception of women in sports change over the 36 years that you've been involved with the softball program at UCLA. Can you share some of your observations or thoughts on that?
First and foremost, we just celebrated the 50th anniversary of Title IX, and really being able to have the opportunity for female in sports to be able to do what we're doing. And I always like to be able to stop and say and give thanks to those that walked before us, that fought, had a voice, and created this opportunity for me to be able to have a profession, do something that I'm passionate about, and get paid for it as a female. Just truly being able to actually have a platform to be able to have a voice as a female, that's the biggest part of my job now, is being, no longer back in the day was just about being able to stand out and win in sports. In this generation, I really am in a position to be able to grow and empower females because the opportunity is there to be able to be a leader, to be able to do something you're passionate about and be able to be valued, to be able to lead as a female. It is a reality. There are people that are looking for that, your ability to talk, walk, and act, to be able to lead and be a part of a team and make an organization better is the opportunity is there. So I think 36 years later, I think I really went from just seeing the world as a student athlete to now as a coach. My biggest job is not just winning in sports, but really growing and developing women, because we have a chance to get out there and lead if you bring value and you can articulate it and get people to understand why you could make their organization, family, business, team better. So I love that. I love that we're really able to take advantage of opportunities that were created for us in sports 50 years ago with Title IX.